y'all was thinking about something around there. And honestly, that's even before Deaf Poet Society. Like, you know, you know what I mean? So what was the idea behind Destinations?
I went to school with some of the Deaf Poets cats.
Oh, wow.
I knew what was happening, but we had some young ladies, including your wife, in the ministry that had a really good spoken word gift.
Yeah, yeah.
We didn't have many hip hop heads at the time.
Yeah.
It was spoken word. So we started this coffee house spoken word thing. And at first, nobody really showed up. Because it was too...
Yeah.
We were trying to be too mature.
Yeah.
We were trying to be too cool.
Yeah.
When the truth was, we tried that a few times, it didn't work. And then one of the young ladies, Amina, said, so-and-so's a hip-hop artist, and what if we did more hip-hop? And we did more, and it was like, all right, let's try it.
Yeah.
We tried it, man, and it started. I remember we were in this room that fit maybe 80 people.
Yeah, yeah.
And we were like at 20, and it wasn't working. And then we put hip-hop in it, and we went to like 50. And then it was like, okay, the room's full. So like the church had an issue because they didn't really acknowledge us, but we had to go over to the big area.
Yeah.
And we just kept going. And dude, before I don't know if you know this, before I left, because I eventually left, God was calling me to do something else, and that system had gotten really sick. But before we left, when the numbers were pulled, the vast majority of people that had come to that church were young people.
Yeah.
And we were the draw. So we were the draw to a church that had become the third or fourth fastest growing church in America.
Yeah.
And we weren't given the credit.
Yeah.
But the numbers poured out. Like young adults from 18 to 25 it was what was exploding the church. And it's because of what we were doing. But that's the thing, Chris. Sometimes you can... Should I be calling you DJ Jeremiah?
You should. You should.
Okay. I'm sorry.
Chris,
when you know somebody since they were a teenager, you call them what you call
them.
But I'll try to do better.
No, that's right. Go ahead.
But you don't know what's going to hit. And everybody's like, well, I had this great vision. Dude, I had no idea what was going to hit. We were just trying to reach people.
Yeah.
And God dropped the idea on us. I think that's the case more often than not. So many of us like, I got a vision. This is going to happen this way. Man, you got an idea.
Yeah.
You have an in-game dream that God may have given you. But how that dream happens may not be the way you think. Think of Joseph. Joseph got a dream that all his whole family was going to bow. What they don't tell you is his dream didn't fully come to pass.
Wow.
You know why? Because his mom was one of the people that had bowed in his dream. And his mom was dead by the time he had become who he became.
Wow. I didn't think about that. Wow.
So that's the dream that he had didn't bear out the way he thought it would.
Yeah.
But God still was going to accomplish the dream he gave him.
Yeah.
And Joseph had no idea that a pit was in his future. He had no idea that he would be a slave in Potiphar's house. He had no idea he'd be in prison longer than he ever should be for something he didn't do. And then he had no idea that eventually he would be the one to rescue the whole region from starvation. He had no idea.
Yeah.
All he knew was God gave him a glimpse.
Yeah.
And the glimpse God gave him didn't bear out even what he thought he would accomplish. And it definitely didn't happen the way he thought it would accomplish. It would be accomplished. So I think we just need to keep open hands.
Yeah.
With everything that God gives us. And with the young adults, I had open hands. If somebody bought me a great idea, there were a lot of ideas we tried that didn't work. That was just one that worked.
Yeah.
And turns out it was the best. It's one of the best things I've ever done.
Do you feel like that like being a part of that was something like, did you always want to be like at the end with the wise one thing? Like, was that something that somebody pushed you to do, or you already knew like, hey, I got to be the nightcap of this whole event?
I was pushed.
Okay.
Those amazing young ladies who I started the thing with, I think it was Monica, Amina, Maya, and Kia. They were the initial. They were like,
Wow.
you got to share something. And at first I did what I thought I need to do. Let me give a 30-minute message.
You was like Billy Graham. You know how Billy Graham back in the day used to have those crusades and artists and then come in and preach for
That
30
30-minute
minutes.
message didn't work. So when we rejiggered it, I had gotten the message down to under 10 minutes.
Wow.
And at the time, that was kind of a YouTube barrier.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I know if I can get it under 10 minutes, we can post it on YouTube and get more attention.
Yeah.
So I started paring the messages all the way down to just 10 minutes. And I used to have a hot 10 minutes. I'm going to jump in. It's going to be quick. It's going to be easy. But my thing was, I wasn't trying to put myself out there like that. I always knew that I was called to preach and be a big stage guy and stand on, those broad, big stages. But I'm not full of myself that way.
Gotcha.
Where I need to be the centerpiece.
Yeah.
But turns out I was the gospel piece. You heard it interlaced, but I gave it so creatively. Usually there was music under me, and I would say it in such kind of a cool, creative way. I had illustrations, and I was talking through things, and people go, "Oh!" But it didn't come off preachy. It wasn't so hard that people couldn't understand it. I didn't use any churchy language. It was just somebody told me, "You do conversations in jeans." A young lady, Camille, she told me that you do conversations in jeans. And that's how it was. It was like people are bopping their head and they're hearing truth. I shared the gospel every time.
Yeah, you did.
And it became a draw. Yeah. But once again, that was something that was stumbled into.
Yeah.
It wasn't I know what thus saith the Lord. It was just like students were like, we can't do this and you not say something. Okay. I guess I'll say something.
What was your top 5 moments of Destinations when you were over it? What was like the top 5 moments for you?
Oh, dude. One, we did a night where we were raising money for sex trafficking.
Oh yeah, I remember that.
To stop sex trafficking. I was raising money to stop sex trafficking. And when I tell you, that was so cool.
Yeah.
That was so cool. You said things, so I'll give different things. One of my proudest things is how many leaders came from that.
Yeah.
There are pastors.
Yeah.
There are PhDs.
Yeah.
There are
influencers.
There's a coach.
Yeah.
One guy that didn't come through us, but he was influenced by what we were doing. He has been on Broadway. He is on like TV regularly. Yeah. You could turn on TV, he's there. So we set up, we launched out so many leaders.
Yeah.
There's worship leaders, elders. We just launched so many leaders. That is something I am so proud of. So that's the second one. The third would be, we won't get credit for this, but what hip hop and spoken word have become in a Christian environment.
Yeah.
The fact that we took people to Passion.
Yeah.
And they were on main stage.
Yeah.
Dude, come on.
We packed out a room at Passion that time.
There were people all the way out the door.
Yeah. And this is before, like you said, before Lecrae and everybody we was like the first.
We were the young Black people that Passion knew first.
Yeah. It's true.
So the reality is, I'm so proud that we've been able to influence the culture in Christendom.
Yeah.
Many people will never know that.
Yeah.
Because we're not out here waving banners and everything else going, look at us.
Yeah.
We're just doing what we do.
Yeah.
But the truth is, we made a real big impact. Even when Reach Records came to town, they came to see us.
They did. I remember that.
They came to see us and sat right out, and I was talking to them. I didn't know who Lecrae was at the time. He was the first one starting to pop. The Hottie Lewis show, Baraka was their show, became a part of it. But I'm just connecting with these cats. I think Lounge Trump was out there.
Yeah.
But we were just chopping it up as brothers in the faith. And I told him, if y'all need anything, let me know.
Yeah. Yeah.
Scott Free is a pastor now. Come on, man.
Yeah. Yeah.
Come on, man.
Yeah.
We have made a difference.
Yeah. Yeah. I seen something. We seen something recently. Me and Maya was here and we was watching PBS and Adon came on and he had like a set. And we were looking at that like, man, dude, it's so I was telling I tell people all the time. I told this to Sean recently, and I was like, man, we need a destination documentary, man.
Dude, Adon and that whole crew.
Yeah, Remnant, yeah.
It is weird to me that they never popped.
Yeah.
Because they were the coldest MCs.
Yeah, they were.
They had phenomenal songs.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, they worked with K-Joe before he blew up.
Yeah. Yeah.
It was like, dude, but you can't, once again, you can't control that. You can't control where God takes you and the doors that open to you. All you can do is be prepared for what is to come. And we prepared people well. We weren't just doing art. I was actually teaching the Bible.
Yeah. Yeah.
Not just to the larger group, but I spent a lot of time with the team.
Yeah.
And I was shepherding, I was correcting, I was adjusting, I was loving. You know what I mean? We did the whole deal. Like, if we were to have been allowed, I would have taken that whole thing and created a church.
Yeah.
And it would have been the coolest church ever.